everybody! So today I'm going to be doing a video all about makeup brushes. Now, I said at the beginning of the year on my blog that I was going to be doing a little bit more of the kind of helpful videos, so talking about tools, types of brushes. So I'm basically going to talk you through what I think is like the core makeup brush collection that you guys should have. When I say you should have, you don't have to. It's just what I would class as like a good base of brushes. I hope that makes complete sense. So I'm going to start off with foundation / base brushes, and first up I have a Real Techniques brush, and it is the Expert Face Brush. Now I think this is a fantastic brush to use to apply slightly thicker foundations, so I use this to apply my NARS Sheer Glow and my Revlon Colour Man, I don't know what it's called, my Revlon foundation, whatever it's called. Anything that's slightly more thicker, I use this to apply it basically. It's fantastic at blending out colour. Now, I do actually have a foundation brush which is from MAC. I'm just going to swap them around. Now, I actually really don't like using this. The reason being, I find these brushes kind of paint the product on your face and leave you with like streak marks. Now, I do quite like using this sometimes for like cover up underneath the eyes, because it does kind of get in and pat down quite nicely, but there's other brushes I would prefer to use. So in terms of foundation brushes, I personally wouldn't really go for a foundation brush like this. Even though it is a fantastic brush, I just don't think it's that great at applying foundation. Now, in terms of my BB creams and light foundations, I actually use a stippling brush to apply these. Now, this is a fantastic one, and again, it's from Real Techniques. This just allows you to apply a really light layer of the product, and it allows you to kind of be sparing with it, so you're not like really layering it on. And with BB cream, you don't really want to do that. It's also fantastic at applying cream blush. You can kind of dip the end in the product and just sort of lightly dab it on your cheeks, and it just gives a really nice kind of flushed cheek effect. So a stippling brush is something I definitely recommend having in your collection. Next, I'm going to move on to slightly more powder-based brushes. Now, I have a couple here that I use all the time. The first one is a brush which I got really recently, and it is from the Colleen Rooney collection. Now, I was on Very and I was like, I really need to get some new brushes, and she had a collection on there, and there was like, I don't know, 10 brushes for £9. Yeah, I pretty much figured it was a bargain, I might as well try them out. And this is a really, really good powder brush, and literally I just use this to apply my compact or loose powder, whichever way, you know, I'm feeling that day. It's really lovely and soft. The bristles are just really, Obviously you don't have to get this particular brush, there's so many more out there on the market, but I think it's really important to have one in your collection. I also use something called a kabuki brush, which I don't actually have in front of me, which is irritating, but it's basically like a compact kind of powder brush, but it's slightly more, the bristles are slightly more dense, and it actually comes in like a case, and you pull it out and it's like detractable. So a fantastic thing to have in your bag if you want to be able to carry brushes around, because obviously the ends can get quite dirty, you don't want them making the inside of your bag really dirty. Next, I have one of my favourite brushes, and it is a bronzer brush, and it is by the company Eco Tools. It's really, really, really big. I don't know if everyone really gets on with large brushes like this, but it's just really versatile. I can use it to apply my Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation, and it does that really, really well. It's really fantastic at applying bronzer all over my face. It's good at applying powder as well. So I think a big domed bronzer brush is definitely something I would recommend. Another brush that I've been absolutely loving recently is this angled face brush, and it's by a company called ELF or ELF. I never know what they're supposed to be called, but I'm going to call them ELF because that's what I normally call them. Now, this brush was super cheap. It was like a couple of pounds, and it's really, really good at applying bronzer in like the sort of dips of your cheeks here. So like in this part for contouring. It would also be a fantastic brush for highlighting as well, because it's got that slightly tapered edge, and it just allows you to be a little bit more precise with the product. I use this every single day, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this brush that you buy. You could get any brush, but I would strongly recommend having an angled face brush, just because they're so easy to kind of apply product with, and they're really, really versatile brushes. And I think you will definitely find it really easy to do contouring if you have a brush like this. Next I am moving on to lovely blusher brushes, and I am adoring this one from Real Techniques. Now, this may be a little bit big for some people, like some people prefer a smaller brush, but it does taper at the end, and I don't really find I have any issues with it, and I don't have particularly big cheekbones or anything like that. I don't find that it like dumps the product on my face or anything, but as like a core collection kind of brush goes, you definitely need a blusher brush because most people use blusher, and I think it's probably going to be one of the brushes you have at home already. There's loads, like I said before about other brushes, there's loads out there on the market, but this one is fantastic and it is by Real Techniques, which isn't necessarily a really cheap brand, but it definitely isn't overly expensive. Now, moving on to eyeshadow brushes, I have quite a few here that I'm going to talk about. Now, I really struggle when it comes to buying like eyeshadow brushes because I find that there's so many out there and I never know which ones I should have in my collection and which ones that I shouldn't. So I really struggle. But I've narrowed it down to these different types of brushes which I will eventually repurchase. I'm sure I'll probably get other ones that come out and that are new and exciting, but these I think are the ones that you would definitely use the most. I'm going to start off with my favourite brush from this sort of collection in my hand, and it is a fluffy ended brush similar to the MAC 219 or 217 brush. Again, this is from the Colleen Rooney collection. This is a fantastic brush to help blend and contour your eyes. It's just so versatile and it makes blending a complete dream. So if you're someone who really struggles with blending like eyeshadow out and really struggles with contouring and doing like the dark bit in the crease, this is going to be a godsend to you, I promise. So like I said before, it doesn't have to be this particular brush, but I would recommend getting one of this kind of nature for your collection. Next I have a Tapered M brush, and it is from the Colleen Rooney collection. Now it's actually quite a large brush. I have a smaller one down here that's similar style. It's just really useful kind of all-round brush. It's good at blending, it's really good at applying just all across the lid, a base colour. It's really good at contouring in the crease. It's just generally a fantastic all-round brush. It's not really precise because as you can see it's got quite a large brush at the end, but it's so versatile and really easy to use, and something that I use a lot, especially when I'm applying like the base colour when I'm starting off doing my eyelids. These next two are kind of smaller brushes, like mini versions of other brushes. This one is another tapered one, but it's a lot smaller, and again this is fantastic for the crease and kind of defining in the crease, and generally any kind of little nooks and crannies you're looking to get into with colour. I would probably use this a little bit later on in the look when you're kind of trying to build on the eye look rather than right at the beginning. So those two brushes I've just shown you, these slightly larger ones, these are the ones you're going to be starting off using probably. Last but not least, with the eye brushes, I have this one which is just a really tapered kind of basic brush. Now I use this to define my under eye with dark eyeshadow. I dab like that and then I then run it underneath my lower lash line. And it's just really helpful to kind of blend that colour down from the top lid. You need something a little bit more precise. I just wanted to quickly show you my eyebrow and eyelash comb brush thing. Now this is again from Real Techniques. I use this every single day. I think it's really important to have one of these kind of brushes. It's basically got like a metal comb at the end, and it's really helpful for separating your lashes. If you're someone who quite likes thick mascara like me, then you'll find that sometimes your lashes can get a little bit clumped and they need a little bit of a hand separating out, and I use that every single day. And in addition, I use the eyebrow brush on there as well, which is again fantastic. And this guy stays in my makeup bag, is there all the time, and I definitely think would be a fantastic addition to any makeup brush collection. One brush I actually forgot to mention really briefly is an angled precision brush. Now this one is really tapered and very angled, and is again from a company called ELF, and it's actually called a small angled brush. Now I use this for quite a lot of things, and again it would be really versatile brush to have in your collection. You could use it to apply gel into your eyebrow, so if you are someone who prefers the gel as opposed to a pencil. It's also fantastic at applying gel liner to the top lash line. It's good at doing gel liner underneath your eyes as well, and if you want to be a bit more precise with your eyeliner in general, this is a fantastic brush which I use all the time, especially to create like going out night looks. It's just, I So that is it for my brush collection and my core brush collection, the brushes that I use all the time. I'm sure you guys can think of loads of others that maybe you use, and if you do, make sure you let me know in the comment section below, because I'm always up for finding out more about brushes. I'm actually going to be doing a series on my blog where I talk about these brushes individually in a little bit more detail, so make sure you watch out for that. I will put my blog link in the description box below. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and yeah, I guess I will see you in my next video. See you later, bye!